Thank you, Andre, for the introduction. My name is Brendan Carroll. I'm the president and CEO of Skycision. And at Skycision, we're helping farmers get a bigger picture of their fields and make better decisions to enhance their yield potential. So today in the world, global food security is a huge issue. As many of you may know, we're adding 2 billion people to the population by 2050. And in order to feed that population, we have to increase food production by 70%. Now, tonight, we already have 795 million people in the world going hungry, and almost 200 million of them are children. So, when we talk about growing more efficiently, we have to look about what a farmer deals with on a daily basis. And there's a number of points of variability that each grower has to manage. And each one of these points propagates a number of different decisions they have to make. From choosing what kind of GMO or rootstock they use, to when they plant it, to where they plant it, to changes in the climatic temperatures or variability year over year. Finally, there's a number of operational overhead that they have to manage with accounting for pests, disease, and the actual costs associated with production. One of the biggest plights that farmers face today is that associated with the crop loss attributed to pests and disease. Actually, globally, 40% of global crop loss is attributed to pests and disease. Now, farmers today, the majority of them are manually scouting their fields, spending close to 1,000 hours over the course of a season looking for these pests and disease by foot, by truck, by ATV. And the biggest problem is the fact that they may sample a portion of their field, but they may generalize that sample to the middle of a field where a pest or disease may have taken root that has gone on undetected. So based on the conversations we've had and the growers we've worked with, depending on the acreage of the operation, we're seeing about 3 to 10% yield variability based on a lack of detection attributed to sampling bias. So when we look at high value operations such as vineyards on the West Coast, where we've done some of our work up to this point, they have about $30,000 of yield value per acre. And when a vine is infected with pest or disease, that vine actually has to be removed, yielding about a 4 to 5 year regrowth period or $120,000 risk over a 4-year period to that grower's bottom line. So at Skycision, we figured there had to be a better way. That's why we wanted to figure out how growers could get a better real-time picture of their operations, where threats exist, and how they could make better reactions more quickly to respond to that. So what you can see here is a stress map. And in the stress map, what you see is blue areas of health and red areas of stress. The red box didn't correlate perfectly in PowerPoint, I apologize. But in that seemingly blue patch, that blue block, there's actually red patches in that. Those red patches were a highly contagious vector known as leaf roll V3 in Napa Valley. It spreads aggressively from vine to vine, and if it's not remediated quickly, it can actually consume large amounts of acreage, yielding thousands of dollars in losses. And so our aerial imagery system was able to pick this up, and the growers were able to respond quicker. So we acquire aerial imagery to do this by integrating with the largest drone manufacturer in the world, DJI. DJI has a $6.5 billion market cap with approximately 65% of the commercial market share. So what they did was they released a new drone on the market that has a strong carbon fiber frame and up to about 40 minutes of flight time, yielding about 150 to 250 acres per flight. And their open software development kit allows companies like ours, data analytics companies, to work with their hardware platform so we don't have to become a drone company. Their low cost point of anywhere between $700 and $3,500 makes this very accessible for various farmers across the country. Now, we realize that growers also have a very precious commodity, and that is their time. And so one thing that no farmer has the time to do is figure out how to be a drone pilot. So we created an autonomous flight planning app with the farmer's user experience in mind first. They tap the field they want to fly, they click deploy, and the drone is merely an extension of what they would be doing already. What happens as that drone flies is it takes thousands of photos, and we analyze the infrared band of light reflectance. So what happens is infrared light actually correlates very highly with the chlorophyll content in the canopy of a crop, and we can actually detect stress weeks earlier than the naked eye can. So we track that over a period of time and give them easy-to-use heat maps as you see over on the right. Most importantly, this is very intuitive. We create an easy-to-use web dashboard that syncs with the mobile application. So farmers that are in the office can sync with their scouts in the field. They can collaborate to react to stress sooner, and they can optimize their yield results. So based on what we've seen up to this point, based on the amount of yield variability that we've seen year over year, we believe we can reduce that up to approximately 80%. 40% reduction in the amount of time spent scouting. And when we start looking at variable rate applications of inputs versus blanket applications of pesticides, herbicides, etc., we believe we can save up to approximately 30%. And so this is a huge market, right? A large majority of this exists in commodities, but what we've also realized is that drones are a much more accessible platform for high-value crops with lower acreages. And so when we start looking at vineyards, we start looking at avocados, strawberries, and citrus, and almonds, we start realizing that a lot of these different types of crops have over about $10,000 in yield value per acre, and early stress detection is a top concern for them. So we'll be focusing on that and expanding into satellite and plane imagery to address row crops in the future. We're planning on bringing on about 150 farms in 2017, yielding over $1 million in revenue, and we have a strong leadership team to do this. I have my background in data science from Carnegie Mellon. Don is 25 years of remote sensing experience, a PhD in the field. Adel, 25 years of software development expertise, and Alec was a top mechanical engineer at Carnegie Mellon. So to date, we've raised $340,000. We have gone through 2 different accelerators programs. We've received a grant from the National Science Foundation. We've deployed to 2 different large clients in Napa Valley, and we've iterated on our product 4 separate times. So those 2 clients have brought us 40,000 acres, 80 vineyards, and over $25,000 in potential revenue for 2017. Treasury Wine Estates happens to be the largest wine producer in all of Australia and the 4th largest in North America with 40,000 acres globally. And both of them have recommitted to us for the 2017 season. So today, what we're doing is we're raising $200,000 to basically start the revenue funnel and start scaling up our sales process. That'll bring us to the March-April timeframe, at which point in time we'll be raising our first institutional capital of approximately $1.2 million, which will bring us 150 customers, $1 million in revenue, and we'll begin ingesting plane imagery, satellite imagery, as well as field data sources around soil, climate, and elevation. So what we're looking for is we're looking for resource partners, we're looking for early stage investment, and we're absolutely ecstatic to be here and a part of the Memphis ecosystem. And so please come find me afterwards. This is my email. Connect with us on social media. And I just want to thank you so much for your time. So thank you.